Welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls, where culture meets commerce and the people behind our favorite places get the mic.
We're your hosts, Melissa Goodwin and Steve Schmidt, and we're sitting down with the makers, doers, and dreamers shaping the soul of our city.
From storefronts to side hustles, tattoos to tech startups, we are telling the stories that make Sioux Falls shine.
Because behind every business is a human story, and those stories, they're what make our community feel like home. This is Spotlight Sioux Falls.
This is the only
The only cobblestone road left, I think, in the whole city.
I remember as a kid always being like, drive over it again. Blah, 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 blah. So, Jenny, introduce yourself to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
I'm Jenny Downey, and I am a realtor with Hegg, and I've helped 140 families find their homes, and I also am sometimes known as the Nerdy Tree Lady.
That's pretty awesome. We're going to get into that. Now, how long have you been doing this for?
You want to take a guess?
140 homes. I'd say about 10 years.
Close, but 8.
8. Okay. Well, you're kicking butt.
I am.
Okay.
But I'm ready to ramp up because I'm an empty nester now. So my momentum is like this, and I'm going to ramp it up.
So you spend a lot of time in here.
No, I spend a lot of time driving around showing people houses.
So this tag is not somebody who just stuck a dog tape up. This is something to do with the tree, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is an ash tree,
Yep.
and they're all over Sioux Falls, all over South Dakota, all over the Midwest, and they're all going to die from this emerald ash borer. And if you have an arborist come out and treat your tree, they're going to put one of these tags on it, and then every other year, if you get it treated, it should not die.
Wow.
So when I'm showing houses to people and there's a big ash tree in the front yard or backyard, that really makes up their landscaping, gives them shade and beauty in their yard. If it doesn't have one of those and it has signs of the ash borer, I'm like, you have to consider that this tree's gonna not be here and you're gonna have to pay to get it cut down. So
Yeah.
you gotta count that cost. And
This should just have a price tag on it.
well, the price tag of cutting down ash tree is pretty high.
Say.
So I just look for these tags, and
That's
I
going
think
to save on $20,000.
probably if
Okay.
there's multiple in your
That's a
yard.
lot of money.
Yeah,
But if you love the house,
yeah.
cut it up and make a deck.
There. I just think you need to understand the cost of tree removal in a house if the yard has multiple
Yeah.
ash trees.
You've been in this area for a while. Like, what did you do before you were a realtor? And how did that transition into this? Because I think it transitions really, really well.
Oh, that's a good question. What did I do before this? I like to tell people I was a full-time, never stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And so I was the mom
Operations manager.
Yeah, right. I homeschooled my kids for many years. I also managed all of their soccer club teams, which was pretty much a full-time,
totally.
no paid job.
Yeah.
And so I just was the one volunteering in the classroom once they went into the school system, and I was also just a lot of driving them around to soccer tournaments, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's so much getting out in the community too.
Oh, I was totally out there, and I was intermingling with all these families and being in charge of communicating and helping them navigate being on a travel club team. That's a lot. Yeah, and then I think I just got a lot of exposure to Sioux Falls, but other communities too, because we go travel in Omaha, Kansas City, and it helped me appreciate what we have here. We're looking backwards in the rearview mirror, and COVID was like amazing for buyers because the interest rates were so low, but it was also a really great time for sellers because you could throw your house on the market and have 20 people make an offer.
From across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not really like that now.
Right.
It's really evened out where it's kind of you have to work harder to list your house. You need to do the things to make it look presentable. You can't just throw it on there and,
Yep.
Buyers are still getting pre-qualified. There's tons of buyers out there.
Yeah.
The interest rates are a little higher, but they're still lower than historic.
You can always refinance.
Always. That's always an option. So I would say it depends on the price range. Some price ranges are really hot right now.
Which ones?
Like your 300,000 starter home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Those have always been hot though, right?
Right. But now they're hot again. Like I have multiple offer situations.
Are people flipping them or are families buying them?
Mostly families, mostly
Okay.
first-time buyers, starter homes.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of Airbnbs in Sioux Falls.
And we don't probably need any more of those.
I think that, and that's okay. Like, I think we're growing up a little bit. I think that as as a realtor, are you finding yourself introducing a lot of new things or new areas to people they didn't know existed?
Well, I think people that move in from out of state, they've heard good things about Sioux Falls, but they haven't really discovered the things. And so I love getting to introduce them to places like the Pavilion or restaurants downtown that they didn't know existed.
Yeah.
I'm telling them about the Jacobson Plaza that's going to be coming up.
Yeah, there's so much going on. The Steel District is
Tons.
insane.
Yes, like it's an incredible time to be in Sioux Falls. And if you're moving in and you don't know about any of that stuff, I'm telling them about the bike trails, about the park system, about the just the libraries that are amazing here. And so there's just a
love it.
lot to offer.
You got the next call. What would you today hope that couple would look like, or that person, or those partners? What would that look like?
Sure. Well, I have a lot of people in my past clientele that have bought as first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And so some of them have added to their family, or they're 2 or 3 years down the road and they're getting a new job, or they're just ready to move on from that starter home to their next home. I think it's really gratifying to go in, see what changes they've made, how they've improved their house, and here's how much equity you've built. Here's what we could list it for, and let's go find that new home that, They've also had time to learn what I don't like about my first home that I bought, and my next home, these are the non-negotiables. And so I can help them decide, well, you have kids now. Do you want to think about what school district you want to be in, or what things are important to you in your next home? Do you want to have a large kitchen? Do you love to cook? Do you love to host your family gatherings? Or do you need a garage? Like, is that really important to you? Like a man cave, or just things that now that they've been in a home for a while, now they know what's important to them. Well, when you're talking about someone in Sioux Falls, they usually know 5 to 10 realtors. It's just reality.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of good people to choose from, and there's other amazing realtors out there. But what can I bring to the table? I personally have bought and sold 7 houses of my own with my family, so I kind of know.
Best customer.
That's right. I just understand the process, and I understand the stress it puts on a family, and I understand what things people are looking for. And I really can speak to like neighborhoods, school districts, smaller communities around here. I've lived here a long time, and I understand Sioux Falls. If you are from Sioux Falls, you are clearly have a preference of east side or west side, and it's a very strong affinity. And if you ask why, they really can't articulate. I just am east sider. I'm just a west sider.
Right.
And when I meet with new people who are going to buy, they'll tell me. And it's
Which side?
oh yeah, only west side or only east side. It's the people moving in from out of state who are willing and don't even know. And they're like, oh, I don't care or whatever. And I'm like, do you have a preference? No. And then it's like,
I've definitely heard that in our house before.
sure. So I do have a little bit of a bias towards east side,
Sure.
but I grew up in Brandon, so that's natural. But there's really nice neighborhoods for young first-time buyers all over Sioux Falls, and you need to know what school district you want to be in, because there's pockets of Southwest Sioux Falls that are in the Harrisburg School District,
Right.
or there's some northern Sioux Falls neighborhoods that are actually in the Brandon School District that you wouldn't even guess.
People seem to be on the fence right now about selling because they might have that interest rate from 3 or 4 years ago that's like really low. And they think, oh, we'll just wait for rates to go down, right? I just don't think that's the wise move. You might be winning the battle, but losing the war, because rates are never going back down to that. And you have to understand that the prices of homes just keeps going up. And so you might want to consider, yes, we might have a bigger payment, but we're going to not have that huge increase in price.
Quality of life too is a big thing.
Right. You don't want to stay in your little house shoved in there with all your pets and your kids and be miserable when you could expand and get into that other house before the prices are just unattainable for you.
Yeah. Well, and there's the other side of it too, where you see the people who, like, their kids leave, and not you even, like people who have 5,000 square feet and their kids leave. And I go, that's interesting, because not a lot of people can buy those houses here in South Dakota. We have a lot of big square footage, right? We have a lot of homes that are between 3 and 5,000 square foot that are, I would say, on the steeper side typically, but I think people are shocked when they see that, who come from out of state, that we have these big homes with basements. And
Right. People who move here from other states, they don't have basements and they don't even know what to do. They're like, what would we do down there? I'm like, send your kids down there. It's the place where the kids hang.
Yeah,
That's where
it's cool in the
that's where you watch movies. That's where you go when there's bad weather. Also, just people are from other markets don't understand split foyers or some of the way our housing, just the designs or styles. But
Right.
I think there there's so many opportunities for people from other markets to come in here, and they just find our prices more affordable.
Yeah.
And they love our neighborhoods, they love our schools, so it's never a hard sell. At the end of the day, people have to trust who they're working with. And if you trust me to listen to you well and guide you, through the process, navigate through the process, it is a stressful process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you have to trust who you're doing it with.
It's stressful just on the Zillow app, just browsing.
So why does that stress you out?
So many choices.
So many choices. Well, that's where I come in.
Sorry.
I can help you zone or narrow in to so there's not so many choices and really dial into what you want or limit it to certain neighborhoods but if one thing I do have that I think a lot of people don't know is I have access to off-market homes, and I can help you find things that maybe aren't
Homes, maybe
not black,
just off market.
just off market.
All right.
Or you just know if people like, oh, if the right person came along, I might be willing to sell. And
You're like,
ooh, that would be a
that's
good
important.
match. Yeah.
I've heard of a lot of people who have bought houses that exact same way.
They say up to like 20% of real estate deals in Sioux Falls might be done off market. Which, most people don't know that.
Now, I got to ask you before we wrap up in your kitchen. Number one, I'm definitely taking one of these.
That's fine.
Number two,
For yourself.
let's go take a walk downtown.
Sounds good.
Many things that are changing downtown as we speak. What are some of your favorite places?
Well, if you're in the mood for like pastry or coffee, you gotta hit Josiah's up and Cafea.
Yes.
And then there's like some fun shopping at Zanbro's. You could check out the sculpture walk. You go to a movie at the State Theater. And then if you're really hungry, I would suggest like our wine bar or Crawford's, Parker's, go around the corner, Oshima Sushi. I mean, with one rock, you could hit like 20 amazing places to go.
Heard all about your favorite spots, and gotta admit, I share a lot of those, and there's still places I still haven't been to.
Right?
Places that we're walking by right now. If you're an outsider though coming into Sioux Falls, which I want to take our hats off for a second because we're here. And we've been to most of the places, although we haven't been to really many of them at all. If you're coming into Sioux Falls, what can you expect? Because is it still like a best place to live? Like it was 20 years ago? What's happened there? Because
it is. The mayor just released a story and said that we are out of 250 top U.S. cities. Where do you think we rank?
I'm going to say 27.
You're really close. We're at 39.
That's still really, really good.
I know. Out of 250 cities, I think that's amazing. And then he said, I was at his State of the City address the other day, and he had a reports from NerdWallet, and it talks about like the most fiscally responsible or well-run cities in the U.S.
Yeah.
We got number 9. And
Really?
Like that's amazing.
The infrastructure of our city is pretty great, right?
Yeah.
Tell
And it's
me about
also
this.
like your graduation rates, your crime, your health care, your transportation.
Motorcycles?
Yeah, sure. There's like so many things that go into that ranking, but I just thought it was impressive.
This is also new downtown. Tell us everything else that's going on down here, because I think there's no less than 20 things within just me looking left to right that are all brand new here in the Steel District downtown.
There's a ton of stuff going on down here. And the Steel District and the Jacobson Plaza are the two really fun new things. And then the Levitt, where you can go to live music. And then you just go that way for Falls Park. And what I've seen actually is a trend of people my age who are empty nesters. They are selling their 3,000 square foot family home, and they're moving.
Move it on up.
They're moving on up. They're getting rid of a lot of their stuff, which is really appreciated. And then they're buying these lofts, and then they're just having this downtown lifestyle. There's like a dog park down here, so you don't have to get rid of the dog. You can go to live music. You can eat at the amazing, restaurants around here. And I just think it's a fun trend. The other thing I'm seeing older people or retirees do is like move into villas and more like little communities where there's a bunch of like aged people, and then they'll have like a pickleball court or something. Yeah, they're having these communities. So
I love
that's
that.
fun. I want to do that.
We are going to go to the Cathedral neighborhood. Should I go by the Cobblestone Street? That's what it's
Great. It's the only remaining cobblestone street. I think, what is it? 8th, 9th, 6th? somewhere in there.
I think somewhere in that area, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember as a kid always being like, drive over it again. Blah, 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 blah. We're like, wow, that's so cool. This is the only what? Only,
The only cobblestone road left, I think, in the whole city.
man. Listen to it. It's like music to my ears. But let's talk a little bit more about this, because now we're entering this place that you said is sort of
Yeah, I think
predicted
it's the
to be.
next hot place to
Why?
buy. Well, there's all these amazing homes, and they're older, but they're just ripe for restoring, and they're close to the thriving downtown, so it's just going to be a hot spot.
Can I ask you a weird question?
Sure.
Because I look at these homes, they're really beautiful. This is how my mom got her house. You know my mom?
I do.
She just drove up and said, I like your house. Let me know if you ever sell it. Is that something people do?
I mean, from time to time,
Yeah.
it's a strategy.
Because how would you know, let's say you see this house, and to me, it would be a place where you'd almost have to go up and be the first one, or else you really miss it.
Well, I mean, a lot of times real estate is sold word of mouth, right? And so
Right.
there's all these pocket listings, which basically means, hey, I know this person would sell if the right buyer came along. And then you can just kind of mention that to people, and pretty soon word
Right.
of mouth, and you got people knocking at your door. You already pointed out on the nerdy tree lady.
That's right.
You got to look at the trees in the yard, because if they're all ash trees, they're all going to die. Or if they're massive old trees that are diseased, they could either fall on the roof, or they just need to be taken down.
Yeah.
And that's going to change the look of the yard, and it's just going to be a huge expense.
I look at these homes over here that are so beautiful, and I don't know who L.J. Frank Rooney is, pardon me, and I'm sure he's a great person.
He was a
but
broom maker.
he's from Brookings, I believe. Brewmaker, not Brookings. Thank you. I'm not wearing my glasses. But this house is in great condition. So this is a historical property, right? And somebody bought the house and it will never be touched. Is that sort of the, tell me what that means.
Well, if you buy a house in the Historical Society purvey, they have to follow certain rules and regulations, and
I see.
they can't like make certain changes. You have to keep the paint, the structure. You can't just come in and like modernize things. You have to basically keep it like in line with what it would be, how it was.
Yeah.
And restore it that way.
And how it was, they don't build homes like this anymore.
Not really.
Is it because it's too expensive? I don't see a lot of new homes with multi-dimensional brick, and it looks beautiful. I mean, to me, if I'm driving into Sioux Falls, you're going to be hard pressed to not get me to be really interested in one of these homes.
Well, I mean, it's a trade-off, because these older homes are a little more choppy, and they
Right.
have, more defined spaces. So, you got your formal dining room, or you got your formal office, where the newer homes, it's just all open concept, right? So that's your trade-off. It's what you prefer.
Here's my question, big question before we have to wrap this episode in just a little bit. And this is a little weird, so stick with me, but it's very Steve-like. Do you believe that people mentioned to me, and I always used to think it was corny, that they thought a certain house had energy? That wasn't very, very good, and we're not talking ghosts.
Sure.
Do you think a house over time like carries that, or is that all in people's heads? Because I've seen people not buy houses they loved because they got a little spooked by the vibe.
Wow. That's such a good question. I have seen homes where I feel like there's no energy, or there's low energy, and it's just like, ugh. You walk in and you're just like, yeah, I can't see myself here.
Yeah.
And I think it happens when the people have already moved out.
Yes.
And you don't see anything there, and just empty, and you can't get a sense of the life that was there.
Yeah.
But if you move into I don't really care if it's a new house, old house, what kind of house, and the people there have really fun stuff, and you just get a sense of their
Right.
life there, or the garden, or the place where they have their dog bowl, and you're just like, yeah, I can see myself here. I think that's energy that just comes from seeing other people's
Yeah.
happy life there.
Now, if I'm going to sell my house, what are the things that I need to know?
Well, you got to trust a realtor to do some really good research and help you with pricing, because that is a really important piece of the puzzle. But then ask me to come into your home and look it over and see, like, what could I put away or put in storage, or declutter?
Yeah.
Could I depersonalize? Do I need to have a fresh coat of paint? That goes a long way. It's
Yeah.
not that expensive, and it goes a long way.
Right.
To freshen it up.
What's your curb appeal? Do you need to spiff up your front step and your landscaping? Maybe paint your front door.
Yeah.
Just little things like that can go
Make
a
a
long
big
way.
difference.
Yeah, but the decluttering is half the battle, and getting the price right.
I want to get a hold of you because you just dropped knowledge on me for like 15 minutes straight. How would I do that, Jenny?
Sure. Well, you could try my website,
Okay.
jennydowney.com, or you could call me.
Okay.
Do you want my number?
I do.
Okay. It's 867-5309.
Yep. Oh, I see what she did there. That was
Okay.
good.
Wait,
Very
that's
good.
not right. It's 605
Okay.
351 4573.
4573. Can they text you?
Yes.
Okay.
I respond very quickly to texts.
I bet you do. You
Yeah.
just seem like you would.
That's my MO.
And you
for
still
sure.
probably get 6 hours sound sleep at night.
No,
Oh,
I don't.
not
I'm
that
a
part?
night owl. You could
And you're a
text me at
realtor.
2 in the morning. I probably would answer.
We've had a blast, guys. We've gone from everywhere from Brandon to Sioux Falls with Jenny and everywhere in between. And you've gotten a chance to get to know her a little bit better. We're Spotlight Sioux Falls. Jenny, we think you're pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
This episode of Spotlight Sioux Falls is sponsored by Magnetic. We help businesses grow through content that stands out and software that scales your conversations. Not sure how to build your pipeline? You can find us at magnetic.services. Magnetic.services, your pipeline will thank you.
Thanks for listening to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
These are the stories and the businesses that shape our city. If you heard something today that made you smile, made you think, or maybe reminded you of someone you know in your neighborhood, please share it.
That's how we support local. That's how we grow. And if you know a business owner we should feature or you want to tell your story, reach out.
Until next time, we're Steve and Melissa, and this is Spotlight Sioux Falls, where local stories get the stage they deserve.
Do you want my number? That's weird.
Totally. As a realtor, it's all over
Okay.
anyways, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it would be on a billboard. So
It's 867-5309.
we're going to do that again.